Good evening and welcome to Breaking News on NDTV. I am Ankit Tyagi. It all started in January, ladies and gentlemen, when allegations of very serious nature of sexual harassment was slapped, came to the fore against the outgoing World Wrestling Federation, Wrestling Federation of India's Chief Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. He's a very powerful politician, Member of Parliament of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Since then, there have been protests, assurances, protest again, and assurances again. But finally, after more than a month and a half of the complaint being filed, the charge sheet has been filed today. This is what I was talking about. Remember those protests when the wrestlers were dragged onto the streets of the national capital near Jantar Mantar? That was the desperation of the wrestlers. Today, charge sheet against Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has been filed by the Delhi police. The investigation went on for more than a month. There were calls, insinuations, allegations that the Delhi police is going slow as far as the BJP's Member of Parliament is concerned. At least today, there is one step, important step in this entire saga against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. 1,000-page charge sheet has been filed. More than 25 witnesses have been mentioned in this charge sheet. But more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, the POCSO case which was registered at the behest of an underage wrestler, after she has taken, and her father, the complainant, have taken their statement back, the Delhi police in the charge sheet has also said they have applied for cancellation as far as those charges are concerned. So the complaint and the charges against Mr. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh are now on the basis of the statement and the complaints made by 6 wrestlers, those who have been sitting on the protest against the BJP MP. Let's take a look at what has happened and what are the significant details of this charge sheet.
Charged with sexual assault, the controversial wrestling chief and BJP MP Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has been booked under sexual offences by the Delhi police. After months of dramatic protests, at least 2 rounds of government meetings and a Supreme Court diktat, the Delhi police filed its charge sheet against Brij Bhushan following over a month of investigation. In its 1,000-page long charge sheet, the Delhi police has slammed Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh with charges of sexual harassment, stalking and outraging a woman's modesty, a non-bailable offence.
जो रसलर्स की कंप्लेंट पर केस रजिस्टर हुआ था उसकी इन्वेस्टिगेशन कंप्लीट हुई है, तो उसके बाद हमने इसमें चार्ज शीट है कंसर्न कोर्ट में फाइल कर दी है. इसमें सेक्शन 354, 354A और D इनके तहत हमने ब्रिज भूषण है उनके खिलाफ और मिस्टर विनोद तोमर हैं उनके खिलाफ भी 109, 354A, 354 एंड 506 IPC में चार्ज शीट दाखिल कर दी है.
Some relief, however, for accused Brij Bhushan Singh, as the Delhi police sought cancellation of the POCSO FIR filed by a wrestler's father, alleging that Singh sexually assaulted his minor daughter.
पॉक्सको में हमने कैंसिलेशन के लिए फाइल किया है. ये हमने बेस किया है जो कंप्लेनेंट हैं उनकी स्टेटमेंट पर और जो एलिज्ड विक्टिम हैं उनकी स्टेटमेंट के ऊपर. तो बेस्ड ऑन दैट कैंसिलेशन रिपोर्ट हैज बीन फाइल्ड.
After a long battle fought by the wrestlers, the Delhi police has finally completed its investigation. It remains to be seen whether the charge sheet actually stands the test of law. The next hearing is on the 4th of July, and the big question is, will Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh be arrested? In New Delhi with camera person Kanan Patra and Sachin Gupta, Vedant for NDTV.
So after the watering down as far as the POCSO case is concerned, is it the charge sheet, is it a relief for Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh or the troubles for him are just beginning? Let's just take a look at the sections which has now been imposed or invoked in the charge sheet against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Section 354 of the IPC, which is outraging modesty of a woman. It's a non-bailable offence, and if found guilty, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh may be imprisoned between 1 to 5 years in prison. Now, Section 354A of the IPC has also been slapped against him. Sexual harassment is a bailable offence. Imprisonment up to 3 years or fine or both can be slapped against the accused. 354D IPC, which is stalking, bailable offence, imprisonment up to 3 years is also as far as the provisions go as far as this case is concerned. Now, overall, ladies and gentlemen, which way is the case heading, the fight of the wrestlers heading, and is it trouble or relief for Brijbhushan Sharan Singh? That's our top focus at this moment on Breaking Views. Let me very quickly introduce my guest on the broadcast to discuss this. I have Dr. Professor Vikram Singh, former DGP, Uttar Pradesh Police. We also have Ashutosh Srivastava, Advocate, Supreme Court. We have Dr. Sunita Godara, Asian Marathon Champion in 1992. I welcome all of you on the broadcast. I want to start by asking you, Ashutosh, what do you make of the sections which have been levelled against Brijbhushan Sharan Singh? How serious are these sections? And should Brijbhushan Sharan Singh and his team be looking at this as a relief after investigation of over a month?
He has not been charged under POCSO, which could have been a difficult situation for him. As considering Section 354, which is the only non-billable section, considering other sections like 354A and 354D, which are billable offences. Now, since the charge sheet has already been filed before the court, now considering the judgment of the Supreme Court previously and also in 2023, the guidelines were issued that when the charge sheet is filed and it falls under the category A offense, that is maximum punishment 7 years or below, in those kind of cases, the accused is not required to be arrested when the charge sheet is being filed. So now, considering the further course of action, the summons will be issued by the trial court, and then the proceedings will take place. He can apply for filing his bail security bonds, and accordingly he will be granted the bail. And in addition to that, he can also file for discharge if he finds that there is no concrete reasoning or concrete substance in filing of the charge sheet considering these three sections.
Right.
And the court will decide on its merit considering the statements given by the witnesses and the available evidences which have been annexed to the charge sheet.
If I understand this correctly, there is no immediate threat of arrest as far as Brijbhushan Sharan Singh is concerned.
No, not at all. Considering the sections which have been implicated after the charge sheet being filed, he is not at all required to be arrested as per the law.
Dr. Sunita Godara, this was one of the main demands as far as wrestlers are concerned. They were waiting till 15 for this charge sheet to be produced in front of the court. Are the wrestlers and the sports fraternity in general, and as a woman, are you disappointed with what has happened today, or does this give you hope that there is still a legal battle which is left to be fought?
See, there is a long legal battle, and I'm not disappointed what is happening because POCSO has been taken back. This is all, happens when justice delayed is justice denied. The victims and the witnesses become hostile. That is very common, when you delay in processing and procedure and things like that. From day one, I am asking, in-house, if we have redressal system, in-house, if we have mechanism where girls can go, not only girls, it's not only of sexual harassment, it is all kind of harassment in sports system. We have something called sports ethics panel, legal identity, with a retired judge and eminent sports person throughout the year, where the athletes can go. Why should they go to Jantar Mantar and do dharna? Why should they file to the Supreme Court, or they wait for FIR and things like that? Whereas in sports law, in 203 countries, it's happening very fast, 100 times faster, 10 times easier.
Right.
Then there is no police taking the evidence, taking the witnesses.
But Sunita, that is a larger question as far as the system is concerned.
It is the largest perspective, but it is a faster. In 3 days, the sports ministry can order panel. In 1 day, the judge can be appointed.
No,
And the
I
second
understand
day,
that, ma'am.
he
But
can-
at this moment, we
he
don't
can
have those
bar
mechanisms.
Brijbhushan
That
for
is something
life
that we
from
are talking
sports.
about, a systematic change as far as the this entire thing is
systematic
concerned.
change. It is a requirement because we have signed IOC Olympic
Ma'am, I
Charter.
understand that, but I'm talking about this case at this moment of where we are standing. I understand what
No,
we have
it's not-
signed,
it's
but
not
it can't be it
One
can't be
girl-
retrospective now, even if we
One
make
girl
those committees
becoming
as well.
hostile or the father becoming hostile does not mean that the issue has gone out.
Okay,
The
Dr.
issue
Vikram
is-
Singh, I want to
six
bring
girls
you in,
still there
at this
for
moment,
sexual
and it's very,
harassment
very
allegation.
important because a lot of questions have been raised on the conduct of the Delhi police right from the word go, sir. It took 7 days for the Delhi police, an intervention of the Supreme Court, to even register an FIR and start their investigation. We saw the way the investigation was dragged on for over more than a month. There were demands that if initially there is POCSO Act which has been implicated or which has been invoked on him, he should have been taken in custody at least. All those was not done. Then, of course, there is a reversal of the statement as far as the minor victim is concerned. But the fact remains, sir, with a lot of things that the people involved in the investigation have been telling the crime beat reporters, do you think that Brijbhushan Sharan Singh have been given an escape route? They have gone easy on him?
Mr. Tyagi, you have articulated it very well by 5 quick points, and I have my own reservations about the conduct and also the quality and integrity of the investigation. First, delay in FIR happens only after the intervention of the Supreme Court. It is best that it is done suo motu. It wasn't done. Provision of 166A of the IPC against such delinquent police officials who are negligent in such matters. That case has not been registered against the delinquent police officers. Number 2, is there a complicity at the highest level? Number 3, this long drawn-out investigation beating around the bush but not coming to the point. And the tragedy of the whole thing is that the complainant and the supposed victim withdraw their complaint in respect of POCSO. Naturally, if you go on endlessly, you go on and there is no light at the end of the tunnel, such things are bound to happen. And this goes to indicate, was there a compromise? Was there an attempt to browbeat? This only investigation will tell. But it is not natural. It is highly suspicious. And therefore, under these circumstances, the arrest did not happen. Only one section of the IPC, 354 of the is only one. That is non-bailable. All other sections are bailable,
Right.
including 109 of the IPC. Therefore, a long grip was given to Brijbhushan Sharan Singh, and he was treated, I would presume, and I hope I'm wrong, he was treated with kid gloves. In the first place, the evidence, as far as my knowledge of law goes, Mr. Tyagi, the evidence of the prosecutrix is sufficient to nail the accused.
Absolutely.
The rest can happen later. But in this case, the prosecutrix was put to the disadvantage and all the 6 were subjected to all kinds of indignities, whereas Brijbhushan Sharan Singh had a free run. I have my own reservations, and I would feel that there needs to be an inquiry on the investigation also.
Sir, I also, very important points you have made. Before I go to Ashutosh Srivastava, I want to ask you one more question, which is very, very important. And Justice Lokur, a former Supreme Court judge, has also picked up on this point. He said that how is it that the sports minister could come a week ago and could say that on 15 the charge sheet will be filed? Can there be this kind of a disclosure by anybody else than the investigating officer in any case?
You are absolutely right. Legally speaking, it is not possible. It is the IO, and the IO should take pains to ensure that the integrity is preserved. He cannot predict when he will complete the investigation. Therefore, to say for any other person other than the investigating officer and their hierarchy that the investigation shall end by the 15th of this month, this is best left unsaid.
Ashutosh Srivastava, in that aspect, why shouldn't there be seen that undue favor has been given to Brijbhushan Sharan Singh? How is it that the minister was able to come out and say all these things, give a date as far as the charge sheet is concerned? Shouldn't that be looked as interference by the government as far as the investigation goes?
See, the police can very well tell to its higher authorities as to what is the stage of the investigation and how much time is left to complete such investigation. Now, considering the kind of sections here, and most of the sections here are traveled by the trial court, that is the judicial magistrate first class. So in these kind of cases, 60 days time is, given to the police to complete the investigation. Now, if we see this investigation has been completed within 40 days itself. So they still had 20 days in their hand to complete the investigation. See, when we talk about law, we should talk about law. So the law is very, very clear. 60 days for offences travel by the judicial magistrate and 90 days by, if the offences are trial by the sessions court. So in this kind of, in this
But
FIR,
Ashutosh, the
they
law
have
is also clear that the IO is not supposed to disclose the nature and the stage of the investigation to anybody apart from his higher-ups. Even if I presume that you are talking about the police machinery, even if I presume that the police in Delhi comes under the Home Minister, the Sports Minister has no business in what the investigation is going on.
See, that is something I would say the police should not have disclosed. That is a different aspect of the matter. If any IO or investigating officer, if it flaws with any rules or regulations, obviously there are other rules and regulations pertaining to their disciplinary, actions which can be taken against them. But so far as the entirety of the issue is concerned, I do not find that there was any delay in the investigation. Investigation has been done in a proper manner, and whatever applicable sections they have been inserted, so far as POCSO is concerned,
but that
depends.
is exactly what we are talking about. It's not about insinuation, but like the police or the, in the legal parlance, circumstantial evidence right from the day has been that there have been one way or the other laxities as far as the police is concerned. And in that case, Sunita Godara, like Ashutosh was also saying, that this shouldn't have been disclosed to anybody else. The investigation started only when the Supreme Court had to intervene in this case. Are the wrestlers still hopeful? Is the sports fraternity still hopeful that justice will be served?
Justice is delayed, of course, because 5 months they are sitting, and a sports minister, if he can announce 15 days the charge sheet will be filed, then who is stopping him to follow the Olympic Charter? And he could have, at least we should shame this person, who is just roaming around free hand, and it looks like, pressurizing or say influencing the victim or the
Sunita Godara,
witnesses.
have you been able to speak to the wrestlers in this case after this charge sheet?
No, not after this charge sheet, because what I feel that first we have to set up our own house, I have written on 4th May to a sports minister, then reminder on 10th June, and 14th June, I get a very sweet answer from the sports ministry that your letter has been acknowledged, which I'm asking for sports law, which is a rule of in Olympic Charter. And the answer comes, your computer number is so-and-so, and your letter has been acknowledged. They are not realizing that was the second reminder. The day I give third reminder, any Supreme Court advocate can take my letters and file a writ petition that why they are not following the sports law.
Dr.
which
Vikram
they
Singh,
have
prima facie, like you also said, that there is lot to be desired as far as Delhi Police's investigation is concerned. We've done various shows on various aspects, and one thing that is the bottom line is that justice should not only be done, but it should be, the process should also look like that it's moving towards that end. Taking the wrestlers, those who have made complaints against Prabhushan Sharan Singh, taking them to his house when he's already inside. Should all these things not be looked with suspicion? Isn't that intimidation at the behest of the agencies investigating this?
I'm happy you've put up this point. Justice must not only be done, but must seem to be done. And there's always a best way of doing everything. There's always a structured and a legal way of doing everything. The prosecutrix is somebody sacred. The complainant is somebody sacred. All the Nirbhaya guidelines given in the 13th Criminal Law Amendment Act and also by the Supreme Court in the Nirbhaya case were brought to naught under the sense that it was not for the complainant to be taken and dragged to the house of Prabhushan Sharan Singh. To the contrary, they should have been examined at the place of their convenience, not at the accused's place. If I were the investigating officer, I would have taken pains to ensure that the complainants were not taken to the house of the accused. That is certainly not the best way of conducting the investigation. Perhaps the aura and the persona of the accused is such that the complainants could have been petrified. In any case, they are scared. They would have been more scared and petrified. Right. Therefore, they should not have been taken to the residence and the office of Prabhushan Sharan Singh to reconstruct the story. There are better ways of doing it.
Ashutosh Srivastava, respond to what Dr. Singh is saying, that, why shouldn't this be amounted as intimidation tactics against a very powerful man? It takes a lot out of a woman to have the courage and come out and speak, and that too against such a powerful man.
See, all these arguments what my learned friend has made would have made sense if the charge sheet was not filed against him and he would have been given Form B. Somebody is stating that there have not been any charges against him. The police has done its work properly and they have already taken the statements of the witnesses. They have completed the investigation within the time frame.
Okay.
And I do not find that there is any sort of anything which has been done against the principles of law, which has been clearly followed. These are the only sections applicable in the alleged, in the allegations what has been made by the wrestlers.
Sure.
And you cannot put somebody when the allegations are only restricted to the sexual
I'm completely
harassment.
out of time. Dr. Singh wanted to make a point. Dr. Singh, very quickly.
Mr. Tyagi, I would say that timely charge sheeting the case does not condone the misdemeanor of taking the complainant to the accused place. Only one point.
That's very, very important. The conduct of the Delhi police, that is why, is under a question mark. And we will have to wait and see what the court says, the way it takes the cognizance and the way the case, in fact, goes on, because the onus is on the prosecution on the basis of the evidences provided by the Delhi police to charge and ensure that some sort of a prosecution, some sort of a conviction is, in fact, they can only after that they can say that some sort of a justice has been done as far as the wrestlers are concerned. All eyes will be on this case. I thank all my guests for joining me on the broadcast. Very